1, 2, 3, 4, triangle. We'll see how we go. We are officially live now. Here we go. So welcome to a Thursday night session, another one of THRS Deep Cuts. I'm Andrew.
Tim.
And it's just us two tonight.
That just did get a thingy from Insta.
Oh, cool. Alrighty. So we'll see if that... We're trying to make Instagram work for us. We did try it on Tuesday night. There was a limited array of success there. We're trying again tonight. So if you are on Instagram, let us know if this is working, because I can't be 100% certain until I get out of this afterward. But we'll see what happens. I'm not sure Instagram can... Go on. You can check, can't you?
Yeah, talk for a second. I'll jump out and check.
Okay, you jump out and you check, and we'll see what happens there. All right, so Tim's going to go have some fun with that. So I'm going to give you the preamble on what we're all going to do for this one tonight. Well, Tim's got a lovely frozen face there. Cool. All righty, so while you're all stuck with me alone for just a minute here while Tim goes to check, we're going to be talking about the latest releases from Darkthrone and Wildstreet that were dropped this past Friday. We're also going to talk about a classic album from Motorhead in No Sleep Till Hammersmith coming up later on, so that'll be the main event for tonight. So please stick around for that and get involved in the comments, as we always ask you to do. In the description for this, please check out the links for anything you want to check out music-wise. We've got links for everything here. So there's a clip for Wildstreet, Darkthrone, Motorhead in there. Links to all our stuff. So give us a follow, like, subscribe, share this around and everything else as well. And a big thank you, of course, to our fantastic sponsors in Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt, Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Thank you so much for your support. Their links, just like ours, are in the description of this one as well. So that's the preamble done while Tim looks like he's coming back in. Here we go. How you doing?
Yeah, all good.
All good, is it?
Yeah, it's all good.
Beautiful. I think I've worked it out how that one's got it. There's a particular, like, it's like anything else with a signal chain. You got to try and do it the right way to make it work. And I think I've worked out the way to make it work. So cool. Thanks for checking that out for me. It's good to know that that's actually gone live and working on Instagram. So I've added a new platform, and we are looking to add Twitch in the near future as well. I just got to set up an account for that too. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes to make things a little more interesting on different platforms as we go along. We have been joined by Dean, a regular of ours. Thank you for jumping in again. He's gone, hey, lads, hope your week has been good. Looking forward to this fucking Motorhead. Yes, all right, cool. We're looking forward to Motorhead as well, I'm sure. But, yeah, this has been a good week. We'll get on to that, actually. So I've done all the preamble. How have you going? How's your week going, Tim?
Yeah, pretty good, actually. Enjoying a little bit of sunshine these days, which is nice. Yeah, that's pretty good otherwise.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can continue our come out of lockdown soon too. So that'll be good.
Be very nice.
Yourself?
Yeah, good. It's been a good week. Now that the nonsense with community television is in the rear view, it's been a bit easier to get a bit of relax going on. So been able to get more done. If you've been following along, you'll have seen a lot more videos being released on YouTube and Facebook in particular, and just cutting away at bits and pieces. So there's a lot to come in that regard as we go through things. So now that I've got one less thing to stress about, I'm able to put a bit more effort into other things as we go along too. So it's all good. Just keeping busy, doing the stuff that we're doing here, and not sure we're going to be reviewing in our next session on Sunday, because there's not a huge amount of releases that are big ones to target tomorrow. So we'll have a look through the list and see what
the only bands I recognize are metal bands. I know, the Apocalypse Can Write I haven't heard in fucking like a decade.
Yeah, I know.
At the Gates is cool, but again, I don't know. We're interested in a Swedish death metal album. Taka is one, I know, but yeah, we'll see what people think.
Yeah, interesting list. We'll see what happens, but yeah. So that's what it is. We'll see. I'm sure we'll find something to talk about anyway. We'll have something on Sunday for sure. Don't worry about that. David from Acolyte has just jumped in to say, "Some pump for you legends, long live community TV and the Hard Rock Show." Yes, thank you. It was great chatting to you the other night. It was funny how it was literally the next day as we were talking to him that the announcement came through, and I was saying to David and Morgan that I wasn't sure. It was 50-50, toss of the coin. And yeah, there we go. The next day, the news came out. So that was good to have all around. But yeah, that's made a big difference just having that. Funny how you don't realize how much weight is off your shoulders when that comes through. So it's nice relief. But yeah. Anyway, I suppose we should do something about a hot topic, shouldn't we? And I'll go and actually find that link that was posted in our little chat. So bear with me for a second. But the idea here is that the word is going around that Iron Maiden possibly cooking up something very much for Jesus Christ, Facebook can go in the bin later on for changing their fucking layout every goddamn. But there's a rumor kicking around now, and I'm going to find this link. Here we go. That Iron Maiden are doing something a bit sort of not quite sure what's happening with it, because there's a it's a big link. It's in the comments now. Check it out. But it's a Iron Maiden Belshazzar's Feast writing on the wall. It's a teaser. There's some T-shirts and stuff going on with this. There's a bit going into it. It's a bit. When you start digging into it, Iron Maiden haven't released an album since 2015, so they've had some time, which is not unusual for them, but it's a long time now. They have been very subtly teasing this for a little while now. When you start, did you read the article, Tim, when it went through the?
Yeah.
So when you dig into it, there's a fair bit there, and it looks like that. So there's something slated to happen on July 15, if I'm correct. It's July 15. So it's a bit of a what's going on kind of a moment here. So we're not quite sure. No one really knows for certain at all. But like I said, there's multiple people. It's almost like the long play wrestling tees where they start wearing T-shirts and all that sort of stuff. It's a very long con kind of a thing going on here. So well played to them if they are doing it. But I don't know. You read it. What did you think of it?
I thought this was a if this is done by design, it's fantastic. You know, this is using the internet to your advantage.
Yes.
To build up hype, and they're showing everybody how it's done. Frankly, if that's the case, and to be honest, it may not be a new album. It may be, like an anniversary release. It may be a live compilation. It may be a new run of T-shirts or something. It doesn't have to be a new album. I'd love it to be a new album, but well, whatever it is, they've managed to steal the news cycle for a day, which these days counts for a lot because it's just very difficult to do. And when you look into it, it's really quite clever if it is deliberate.
Yes. Yeah, I'll agree with you completely. I believe it is deliberate because there's too much going into it. I know it's a stretch to connect the dots, but once you have connected the dots, there's a lot to take in that says something is coming. So they've done it very, like you said, exceptionally clever. This is really, really smart. And when it comes to using the internet to your advantage, it's been known for a while that Iron Maiden do that because they look at things like where the Spotify plays are happening as to work out where they're going to go and tour. So that's all been a part of it. The writing on the wall lettering that's been referenced in this was also on the flyer for the tour that's been postponed in Australia, obviously, but for the rest of the stuff going on. So it could be a new version of the live show for all we know, or it could be it could be a movie for all we know, or something that they've got cooked up in another video game. It could be anything at all. They've been across all forms of media. I would love a new album, but either way, I probably think we're going to get something on that date. I think it's too much coincidence to not have something land on that date. What it is could be anyone's guess because they've.
It's like the heavy metal version of the Mayan calendar.
Yeah. Which is actually kind of fitting considering the last album as well. So
yes, yeah.
It's all been very smart, well played out. So I don't know. We know they're very switched on with how they do things, and I love how if it is something that no one knows what's happening, which is remarkable, especially like you were saying in this day and age, to not know for sure what's happening 6 weeks out. That's pretty big.
Yeah. But at the same time, they're giving themselves enough time to actually, plug it and announce something.
Exactly.
Again, it's like I said, it's just putting themselves in a news cycle for an extra 24 hours,
Mm-hmm.
rather than using one full day for that. You have one full day for this, and you have another day for the announcement, another day for a single, and then you go from there.
I think that now this story has dropped on Loudwire, the ones talking about it today. The now that this has
Everyone
dropped,
else
you'll
will
see,
jump on it.
yeah, everyone else, and then you'll start to see more overt hints coming from the band in the coming weeks. It'll be a very carefully orchestrated campaign, very well thought out. If they've gone to this much detail to be so subtle so far, they will ramp it up in due course. They'll have this thing mapped out, and they would have had it mapped out for at least 12 months, I reckon.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
Well played. If you're not sure, hit the link in the comments and let us know what you think as well. Tim, T1000, our other Tim, good friend of ours, he's jumped in to say, better not be another live album. They've released about 15 so far. Yeah, that's true.
That's true, but I'll listen to it again. I'll still listen to it.
I think everyone will listen to it anyway. But yeah, he is hoping for something very cool and interesting. We'll go with an early bin. Dean has jumped in with early bins. My bin for this week is 25,000 at the G, but not even 100 people in a bar watching bands and postponed after postponed. Yes, There's a bit of trouble about that. I won't get into the particulars. There's enough, let's say, confusion when it comes to health at the moment. I won't get involved in that conversation any further than that, considering what the Prime Minister and the state leaders have done over the last 72 hours.
Prime Minister's an idiot.
He is an idiot. He can fuck off. He is as useless as tits on a ball. That one, he can get in the bin permanently and just stay in there. But yeah, that's what we got going on. We'll get some reviews in a moment. But yeah, if you've got any thoughts on what are you hoping for? Here's a question for everyone out there. What are you hoping for to happen on, if assuming something does happen, which we are pretty sure, July 15, Iron Maiden, what are you actually hoping for? If you're watching this, tuning in later on, watching live with us now, whatever, get in the comments or, whatever, and let us know what you're hoping for on July or middle of July, July 15, wherever it is, and we'll hopefully find out in due course. But I'm hoping for an album personally, but whatever it is, I'm sure it'll be interesting, if nothing else, so they don't disappoint in that regard. Anything else you want to add to that?
No.
So shall we put everyone out of the misery and get into our first review for the night?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, cool. In the description, you're going to find the link that I'm putting in the comments now. First cab off the rank for tonight is a band out of the US called Wildstreet. We're putting the link to their newest video, which dropped out 5 days ago, for Mother, which is the longest song on the album for the record. And here we go. Let's get into this review. So a big thank you to the band as well I tagged them in the posts on social media this morning and let them know we're going to review it tonight, and they went off sharing it. So thank you so much for sharing the word that we're going to be reviewing it tonight. Hopefully you all like what we're about to say, but Tim and I have not spoken before we did this, so I have no idea what's going to happen next. So without any further ado, Wildstreet with 8 tracks, 34 minutes, the third studio album, although it could be their second actual album because there's an EP as number 2, maybe, I don't know. It's a bit of a thing there, but so they're either second or third full album. Released June 2021 via Golden Robot Records. Quite a few singles have been released from this, including Still Love You and Mother, which is the link in the comments. Produced by Kyle Pass, mixed by John Kaplan, mastered by Howie Weinberg. There were a few people keen on this in our little lounge group, so join our THRS lounge. And so that makes the list this week, and it's worth noting that this is the band's first, like their second EP or album. Number 2 was released back in 2011, so it's their first outing since then.
Wow.
How'd you go with this one, Tim?
Quite liked it, actually.
Cool.
This was the right kind of throwback sound. Because it's obviously a very influenced by 80s hard rock. Yeah. It does have that big bombastic sound to it, a nice swing, and very much a party atmosphere to it as well, that you tend to get from 80s rock. But at the same time, it did sound also quite fresh and new and original as well. And that's what I really liked about it. It was a throwback sound done right.
Yeah.
Really catchy songs, but not... they weren't one-dimensional either. They did know how to change things up a little bit. They did throw the tempo when they needed to. They did, push back when they needed to. I thought the ballads were placed in the right space. I'm not the biggest fan of ballads, but when they needed to space them out, put them there, they did. And when they wanted to hit you with an earworm, they did. And I thought overall it was a very well constructed album. It sounded great too, actually.
Yeah,
crystal clear. If that's the kind of thing you'll be into this. If you're into anything from Motley Crue to Gunners, check this out.
yeah.
This is very much that kind of wheelhouse, and
Yep.
if you're into hard rock, you'll find something out of it. Tennessee Cocaine was my highlight, and 8 out of 10.
Beautiful. All right, cool. Like I was saying, big thank you again to the band for sharing this around. Hopefully you're going to like the review, because I'm going to concur with Tim. I did enjoy this one a lot. If you like the Sunset Strip, that era of music, so what you said, Motley Crue to Guns N' Roses, that kind of stuff, and all the stuff in between, there's not just those two bands there, obviously, then this is the right kind of album for you. You get exactly what you want with this. Tennessee Cocaine is one hell of an opener. You chose it as your standout track on the album, but that is a great way to open this album up. Riffs and hooks for days on this. It's got a great vibe, a great energy about it, which really comes through on the listen for this one, which is really cool, really well done. You've got it feels like a live band in the studio jamming these songs out. It's not overly produced. It's just a real, honest, and not a negative thing. It's a good, honest representation of the band, which makes you think that if you went and saw this live, you'd go and get the same result. And it's a good result. It's a really good result. I put a note here. You get the feeling they'd be just as hot on they're hot on the record, and you feel like they'd be just as hot in the Whiskey A Go Go. You know what I mean? So that kind of thing. Some nice, tasty solos on this, as you expect. Some nice flash there, but you got some great soul in slower songs like "Still Love You." And that's countered by the big balls on the nastier stuff. Like, they've got a really good balance between going for those slow moments at just the right times, and then they just really kick things into gear in just the right places. And like you were saying, the ballads are really well placed. This has all the peaks and troughs you want in a record. Whilst they're not doing anything new, it's a tried and true formula. They're doing it very fucking well. If you are a fan of this era or genre at all, you are going to feel right at home straight away. This does just take you back to that period of time and just makes you feel like you just walked straight back into it. And it's still, but at the same time, it sounds modern, fresh. There's a good bit of a raw edge to this. It hasn't been like, it's, how we talk about, albums from the 80s and they've got this sort of timestamp sonically. This has sort of got the feel, but without that dated timestamp. So
exactly.
They've kept that raw edge just enough in it. They haven't overpolished it, and it's really cool.
It sounds like what a rock and roll album in 2021 should sound like.
Exactly. I like it. I like how.
At the end of the day, we're rock and roll fans. We like a bit of grit and a bit of dirt, but at the same time, it doesn't have to sound like shit.
Exactly. Definitely. I really liked how they used panning and layering in this, because there's a bit more going on this one too. Like, there were some synth touches in this one here and there, and a bit more the ear candy sort of subtle touches that come into the album toward the second half of it. But generally speaking, there's a really meaty mid section on the sounds of this that come from the guitar and the bass. The vocals cut through nicely over the top of that. The solos also cut through. So they've left enough room for everything. But like you said, you can hear everything clearly. You said everything was crystal clear, and that's exactly right. At the same time, everyone gets a little moment to shine on this one. The drums and bass get a nice nod in particular in the song Midnight Children, and the organ filling out the sound wall was a nice touch. That track and the closer, Mother, add a bit of darkness to this record, which is a nice sort of gear change in this one too, and it shows you there's a bit of menace to the guys with some of the storytelling, which is pretty cool. And I don't know, they bring, but at the same time, you've got some serious groove and swagger on tracks like Born to Be. That swings really hard. That's cool. I loved the 7-minute closer. It's a bit unexpected on an album like this. The whole thing is about the 3-minute mark most of the way through. And then you get to the 7.5 minute song, Mother, at the end. It's dark, it's brooding, it's epic. It's a really smoky shift and a great way to close the album. Again, I like that dark touch to it. I mean, all in all, you know what you're going to get if you like the era, but this is a band that's doing it really, really well. They're cut from the same cloth, but not mimicking it at all. They're doing their own thing, and there are enough points of difference for this one to really stand out. It's going to be a one that's going to be easy to go back to over and over again, because it is very, very easy to repeat spin. And the more I listen to it, the more I enjoyed it a lot too. Really well done, fun, great listen. Well done to the guys. This is really good. Sounds great, and it's good fun. If you want an album that's going to make you feel good and pump you up in the morning, this is a good one for that.
This is a playlist one.
It is.
This is one where tracks are going to find their way onto your playlists, and you're going
Definitely. I mean, my standouts here, I mean, I gave an 8.5 out of 10. I picked Tennessee Cocaine, same as you, but also Born to Be. I reckon those two tracks in particular are great ones, stick on a good little random playlist, but also enjoyed the closer, Mother. I reckon that was a fantastic way to wrap it up. So I picked the open, the close, and a track in the middle there. So very, very cool. Well done to the guys. That's a great album. So yeah, we started off well. Started off very well, and I'm pretty sure we're going to keep that trend going in a second because I know how much you love the next band. But before we move on to that, a quick nod to Nudes. Nudes has jumped in to say hi, guys. So thank you for joining us yet again. Another great regular of ours. So thank you for jumping in. All right, time for the next one. With all these episodes, you should know by now you're going to get some gear changes, and this is certainly no different to that. We're moving on to a little band called Darkthrone. So in the description or in the comments, please find the link for Darkthrone, his master's voice. If you can't see it, then search it on YouTube or Spotify or else. Darkthrone, his master's voice. That's the song we're referencing for you guys. So please check it out while we move on to the review of the album. And this will be interesting. This is Darkthrone with Eternal Hails, 5 tracks, 42 minutes, the 19th studio album of the Norwegian band, released June 2021 via Peaceville Records. Produced by the band, engineered by Ole Ovstedal and Celia Høgevold at Chaka Khan Studio in Oslo. Fuck me dead. 2 promo tracks have been released so far in Hate Cloak and His Master's Voice, which is my reference there. Tim, you brought this band to us, I think, as a Torture album, wasn't it?
So originally I brought the first Torture album, which was, the first one was Transylvanian Hunger.
That's right, it was too.
And that was
got me one.
So that one people did not like, which was the whole point of it.
Yep.
The second one was Old Star, which people did like.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, I think Old Star was their 18th album. This is their 19th album, and this is a musical collaboration between Fenris and Nocturno, and as a band, they've explored a lot. They were a lot from the early black metal days to some punk albums and some dirty rock Motorhead style albums and some goth doom albums, but they all kind of sound like Darkthrone, which is cool. Yeah. So yeah, that's how we. I was actually shocked that we were doing this one. So
you didn't expect it at all, but I went, nah, fuck it, we'll do this one because we did enjoy Old Star. It went surprisingly well.
See, but I figured it went well because it was a Torture album.
Yeah,
like when you're doing the Torture album, you're expecting the shits. Like I mean, we did fucking the Yoko Ono album the last time.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, audience.
When you listen to Yoko Ono, anything sounds good. So that's what I figured.
Well, it's safe to say that Darkthrone is a long way removed from Yoko Ono. So let's get into it. Tim, how did you go? Because I'm pretty sure.
I loved it. I loved it. These guys are tried and true with what they do, and I first started listening to these guys when I was 14, 15 years old, and you're a good band to start at the beginning and work your way through, and you follow the journey and you listen to the evolution of songwriting and how these guys have grown and matured as songwriters. Never really turned professional. I think Fenris is a postman.
Wow.
These days, he may have accidentally won a political office when he ran as a joke at one point.
Yeah, I remember that.
But still going strong after all these years, and I think this is a fantastic album. Very much a throwback to again 80s sort of doom metal, early Black Sabbath kind of stuff. Even a little bit of like Celtic Frost and things like that in there. But very very much, but still very much that raw, hardcore. Early hardcore guitar sound, that very much that very lo-fi element to it. But overall, I think it comes together and much more doomy than the Old Star. Old Star was a bit more Motorhead, dirty rock type. But again, I think this one works really well. The songwriting is really good. Only 5 tracks, but they're 5 long tracks.
Yeah.
And it all came together really well. I think there's some great riffs on here. Hate Cloak was my Cape Cloak was my highlight, and then Lost Arcane City of Apocra came on, and that became my highlight. I thought that was a great way to close the album.
That's a good closer. I like the
8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, cool. I like that you mentioned the last track because the very final act on the album, that little haunting melody, sort of that's a really cool way to close out the album. That was a really nice touch on it. Look, what's cool about this band is that I didn't like the first album. You got the result you wanted with that Torture choice, but the Old Star was a very different game. And they use sort of this black and doom metal kind of thing. They've got that all down well, but they use traditional elements of rock and metal mixed in to make this one a cool and different project to listen to. The way they've got the gravelly vocals alongside more traditional, composition really makes this one stand out in a different way. There's so many of these things, where they're really doomy and droney or when they're just using blast beats nonstop. These guys don't do any of those things. Those elements are there, but they don't lean into those crutches at all. I mean, these are longer songs, but the composition changes within those songs and the overall writing makes this thing flow really nicely, keeps it engaging. There's great mood, great tempo swings, plenty of darkness, but there's a lot of depth in that as well. It's not just being aggressive for the sake of it. There's more melody than you expect. And they've got not hooks per se, but there are parts of this that definitely get stuck in your head and stay with you. Some really nice use of groove. That's one of the things I have liked both this Old Stars. The use of groove these guys have is pretty fucking good. And
Peter is a very good drummer.
Yeah, I love and I'll get to the drumming in a second, but what I liked also about this in the sonic space was the dissonance in the solos. That was really cool. Not heaps of it, but it's just an example of sort of for two guys in the band and two, studio guys, there's a lot of detail and put into this, and for, it sounds like growly vocals. You got your guitars, you got the drums, and you think there's not a lot to that, but there's a lot to it. There's a lot of subtlety to this that's well worth checking out and diving into. The mix is what you expect from this, but also not. It's got gritty guitar and vocal tones, but the drums, like you said, the drums are he's an outstanding drummer. But what they've done is they've used the drums to bring the warmth to the mix, so it's not just a brutal cold mix. They use the drums there really nicely. So they fattened up the bottom end on this, which also flowed into the guitar and the bass bit to warm things up a bit, and then that allows that gravelly vocal to sort of cut through at the top end really nicely. But it's not the traditional effect where most of these things where they're doing the riff work where it's really brittle at the top end. They didn't have that harshness to it, which makes this a lot easier to listen to. Some cool cleaner guitar tones on this, just has a nice crunch to it. And it all allows the lyrics to come through relatively cleanly, which is cool because the tone is important in that regard and it adds to the evil vibe. So you're still getting your darkness and your evil, but I don't know, I don't like when they're just blasting the shit out of it because it is doing just that for the sake of it. But these guys have a good knack for doing it just the right times and then using atmosphere to really bring that evil sense of menace to things. They've done a great job of putting this together. Wake of the Awakened came in at just the right time on this album, bang in the middle, but I liked the use of the synth choir in that as well. It's subtle, but it brings something to the song and to the vibe overall this album. And like I was saying before, the final act of the album, that nice haunting stripped back piece with a really nice synth melody going through it. This thing just stays with you. It's well worth checking out. Even if you're not into this style of music, this is a sneaky kind of a gateway album for me. And this is a band now, I've checked out a few of their albums. I didn't like the first one, but there's more of this band I do have to go and check out because they're not all like the first one. We know that for a fact. So I've got to go and check out more to get my head around this project a bit better. But I do enjoy this one. 8 out of 10 for this one. Wake of the Awakened and Hate Cloak. So, yeah, I think we've, taken 4 out of the 5 tracks there, I think, between us.
Yeah.
So different people, different tastes, and we come up with different standout tracks. But that's pretty cool overall. Before we get to our main event, which I'm sure everyone's waiting for, Sally has jumped in on YouTube to say hello, guys. So another regular of ours, thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully you've had a good week as well. And we'll keep moving along because we're going to get to our main event. We're flying through tonight's episode, which is all good. In the comments or in the description, check out the next one. I'm pretty sure there should be a lot of commentary about this one. This is Motorhead. I'm going to put a clip in there. So this is for the No Sleep Till Hammersmith album/video. The song we've chosen is We Are the Road Crew. And let's dig into a little bit of Motorhead for our main event of the evening. So Motorhead, No Sleep Till Hammersmith, 11 tracks, 40 minutes for the original album. I don't know if you listened to the playlist I put together after this because there's a few bonus tracks in there to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the album. This is a live album originally released in June 1981 via Bronze Records, produced by Vic Mail and recorded across a few different locations in England. Coming off the back of a string of successful releases, this one peaked at #1 in the UK while doing well across Europe and New Zealand as well. This album has been certified gold in the UK and is widely regarded as an essential album to listen to. So yeah, it's just had its 40th anniversary box set released, and we figured we'd go back to the original and give it a spin. How'd you go, Tim?
I love this album. So this one, and it's one of the best live albums ever made, really.
I agree.
You think there's probably this. There's the original Iron Maiden one from the House Lake tour, pretty good. Live After Death.
Live. Yeah.
And probably Kiss Alive is probably the other ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Kiss Alive albums are better than the studio albums.
Yeah.
But I love this. I love this era of mode. I mean, what I love about this band is that they're effectively like a 50s like swing, but like swinging blues band, and they just turn it way the fuck up.
Yep.
And then for me, that's when they're at their best, and you get a lot of that in that early era of Motorhead, and there's a lot of that on this album. And what I love about this album is you hear just how good of a band they are, just like they are, just how well they play together, how much they're in sync as musicians. Because I mean, I think I saw Motorhead in probably 2011, which I think the last time I came here, and at that point in time, I mean, they're 60-something years old, and don't get me wrong, they're great, but they take a couple songs to warm up.
Yeah.
As you do when you're that age, you know? Yeah. By the time they get to Ace of Spades and Killed by Death, they're on fire.
Yeah.
With this album, it's from the get-go, and they're off to the races. And the other thing that I loved was is you seeing how sort of the set list evolves as things go on. Yeah. Because, I mean, this is on the Ace of Spades tour. And so Ace of Spades from the album. And, 40 years later, there's no way they're opening with Ace of Spades. Yeah. They're saving that. They're keeping that one in the back pocket.
That's
for later on in the night. And things like, but even little tracks that you wouldn't hear live anywhere these days, from like songs like Iron Horse, and the Hammer, Stay Clean, and all that. I mean, songs, and the other thing is you see how successful Bomber and Overkill were as well, because pretty much everything's from those three, that and those tracks. I mean, there's nothing from On Parole. Even tracks like a lot of tracks like from Ace of Spades that you expect to be on there. But again, these are the sort of things that we look at 40 years later in hindsight and we go, Love You Like a Reptile was a great track, but at the time probably was missing something. So, I love looking at these things as like a fan of history and a fan of music and a fan of bands like Motorhead and a fan of Motorhead themselves. And it is essential listening. For everyone, especially if and the drums. Let's not forget the drums.
Yep.
All drummers love Motorhead.
Yes.
And so anyway, look, I love this. It is a 10, and it's everything I love about music and playing live and being watching. It's just that feeling of togetherness and that moment where nothing else matters. And it's the sort of band that I like too, where they just slap you in the face constantly. There's no bullshit. They're just playing a million miles. They're playing a million miles an hour, and they're full of adrenaline. They're just smacking over the head constantly. I like that. It's great. My highlight track is actually Motorhead. That track.
Oh, cool.
Because, again, that's where I think Motorhead sound their best. Not when they're a hard rock band, but when they're that 60s swing and blues band.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Yeah, no, we're getting some nice comments there. Keep them coming. But this one, for me, is like you throw around, certain albums are essential listening. This is definitely one of those albums. In hindsight, 40 years on, this just captures the band perfectly in that era, in that time. It's the perfect snapshot. Opening up with Ace of Spades, it's huge. It takes you on a hell of a ride straight after that. And the band, like you were saying, they're on. From the moment they kicked off, they're just on. This comes from a few different shows, and this is so cohesive in that regard that it's just, that was smoking on this tour. Like they had it. The only thing that gives it away that it's not, the same show in terms of production, performance, all that sort of stuff is that there's, a few bits of, fade outs that don't quite, gel, but as it goes, but I'm being extremely picky if you wanted to look for a fault, but it really sonically and performance wise has nothing to make you think that there's anything. You'd think this is one show, but it's over like the course of like 3 or 4, I think it is. This is so good. If you've ever seen this band live, which I'm hoping a lot of us have, it's still like you listen to this one now, and I know they got a bit older and stuff, but it didn't feel that.
It does capture what they sound like live.
Yeah. So even if you didn't see them in 81, but you saw them in 2011, you're not missing anything kind of thing. Like it still sounds just as good kind of thing, and it takes me back. It made me remember the times I've seen the band because it made me feel like I was there again, which is fucking fantastic for a trip down memory lane. If you never got to see this band live, this album is about as close as it's going to get for you. This is a great representation of the band, so yeah, get onto it. But the thing is how well it's held up today, the production, all that sort of stuff. It's got everything you want from this. It might be a remaster or whatever, but this sounds fucking great. It's honest, and that honesty in it too, how there's no real tricks applied to this one, just shows you how on this band were. They knew the songs, they knew each other, they were a tight as fuck unit. And like, I don't know, you could hear everything clearly. I loved how it had that crunch the band has live. Like that ear-bleeding crunch. They just only Motorhead have it, and they nailed capturing.
The thing is, right, everyone talks about how loud they were, right? And they were fucking loud, don't get me wrong. But part of the reason why they were loud is because that was part of their sound. Part of their sound was pushing the speaker.
Yeah.
And really driving the amps. And that's what made Motorhead sound like Motorhead.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was, I don't know, like I said, it took me back to seeing them live when you're walking out there going, fuck, that hurt, but it was worth it kind of a thing. Yeah. That's what this album feels like to me. I don't know, the mix is great, captures the band, the great track selection on this one as well. It's funny how many of these songs keep repeating on the greatest hits collections that you kept getting from this band over the years, but it's because they're good fucking songs. These guys knew how to write. Like you said, at their core, they weren't a heavy metal band. Lemmy always said they were rock and roll, and if you go back to the traditional rock and roll, they based a lot of their stuff in that groove and feel, and it was important to them.
Hey, so much of Lemmy's bass play is just 12-bar blues.
Yep. Nothing complicated.
12-bar blues and some just rolling train beats with some guitars over the top of it, man.
Yep. Fucking, people.
It's funny because I'm looking at it now, all right? I'm looking in the lead up to this album, you've got Overkill, Bomber, Ace of Spades, right? And then you obviously got the debut album before that, and On Parole, which is a stunningly underrated album, On Parole.
Yep.
Like at one point in time, you read the reviews of this band starting out, and people are like, this is the worst band of all time. It's stunning to think that.
I know.
It's stunning to think that in hindsight, because like they are really like as a first 5 albums, everybody talks about the first 5 Metallica albums and the first 5 Black Sabbath albums and how legendary they all are.
Yeah.
When you got Motorhead, On Parole, Overkill, Bomber, Ace of Spades, No Sleep Till Hammersmith, Iron Fist, Not a Perfect Day. Like, man, fuck, what the fuck?
Yeah. They didn't really have a dud.
Yep.
Because they just kept to a good formula and it worked for them. Fuck, I don't know. This is really thought out, really well presented. And this is the classic lineup, and that chemistry was just, they knocked it out of the park on this one. I know everyone loves Ace of Spades stuff, but We Are the Road Crew is one of my all-time favorite tracks, and I love the way it was presented on this one. That energy and hearing that song live, like I've seen it live, but going back in memories, hearing it live is such a cool feeling. That song is just great because you know that everyone feels like they're a part of that song, if that makes sense, and it's a really inclusive thing. I don't know. If you've not really checked out a lot of Motorhead, this is a great place to start your journey. You really should check this one. This is like one of those essential listening albums. And the extra tracks on this one, Over the Top and Train Kept a Rollin', do add nicely. Train Kept a Rollin' kind of goes into what we're talking about, the older feel to some of their stuff. The soundcheck moments are a nice addition. They do drag on a bit, but it is a soundcheck, so it is what it is. But it was cool just how honest and real, and they just, they were not phoning in, not going dead set, hell for leather. They sort of did what they needed to do to get the sound right. So it was a good way.
It was a sound check.
Yeah, but it gives you an idea of just they knew what they were doing, and they were doing it well.
Can we hear everything? Cool.
Yep.
Because back in the day, remember too, when you're on tour, your sound checks your rehearsal. Yep. So you run through 2 or 3 songs. If everything sounded good, then you go find something to eat, and get ready for the night.
That's it. Yeah, look, it's overstated or not, take your pick, but I reckon it's one of the best live albums of all time. Probably my favourite live album, to be honest. This is brilliant. I would like to get a hold of the 40th anniversary stuff there too. But anyway, like you, 10 out of 10. I fucking can't fault this one. We Are the Road Crew is my favourite track on this one, but also Bomber, Ace of Spades as well, if you want to pick a few standouts. But there are no dud tracks on this. The whole thing is start to finish. So there is some awesome stuff in this one. Sally really enjoyed the clip to We Are the Road Crew there, so thank you for checking that out. Nudes jumped in to say great live album up there with Cheap Trick live at Budokan. Yeah, there's a few good albums actually. Yeah. And
by the way, let's get the discussion going. The live albums / DVD concert footage. What's your favorite?
Okay, that'd be cool. That's a good one to. Maybe we should turn that into a hot topic at some point as well. What's our favorite live albums, just personal touches, and get the conversation going in that regard. Yeah. Hopefully you're all watching this. Not getting as many comments tonight. I don't know if we're getting as many viewers tonight, but oh well, it is what it is, and they'll catch up later on when they're watching.
We'll ask you if you're there. What's your favorite live album?
Yeah. Put it into the comments. If you're watching, just jump in the comments and let us know what your favorite live album is of all time. That's a good start. While we start to get toward the end of things, let's get some conversation going before we do wrap up. Nudes also said, please don't touch with Girl School. He did correct it. The Girl School is an awesome tune. That is a really good song. That is some good collaborations, actually.
Yeah,
it did. I even liked what they did with Triple H. Going back to the wrestling stuff.
The Game and King of Kings and the Evolution song. And
yeah. They did some great stuff.
It was funny because, I remember seeing an interview with that. And Triple H is like, I wanted to sound more like Motorhead. And eventually they were like, can we get Motorhead to do it? And then he goes, can we do that?
That's right. I did see that one. Yeah, I forgot that. Imagine that. Imagine being a pro wrestler and getting Motorhead to do your song for you. And they didn't do just one either. They performed live. Was it WrestleMania they performed live?
They performed live at WrestleMania, yeah. 17.
Yeah.
Is it 17, actually? I'm not trying to remember.
You know more than I would on that detail.
But, I can't remember, because that was, I think Limp Bizkit did 17.
Okay. Different conversation point.
I think Limp Bizkit may have done 17. But I don't know if Motorhead did as well.
Okay, well, either way, if you know, get in the comments. Otherwise, I'm sure one of us will dig
it up. It was a different time in 2001. I remember, because I saw a clip the other day, and Saliva are playing the Dudley Boys to the ring.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, in 2002, Saliva were a big deal.
They were.
But it's like, you look at it now, it's like, really? Saliva were playing here? Oh. And the Dudley Boys are managed by Stacy Keibler.
I'd forgotten that, actually, but yeah, that was the thing.
Oh. Yeah. So this is this is a good album. This is fun to listen to.
Yeah. Well, news jumped up to say that Lemmy and Triple H became good mates. I think Triple H even said something at Lemmy's funeral, if I'm correct. He was there.
Yeah, definitely would have been there.
Yeah. But yeah, on news has gone limp played for Undertaker 1 year, so there we go.
Yeah.
I don't know who that was. But also David James on Facebook has gone, hey, my fuckers, rock on, rest in peace, Lemmy, or rock in peace, take your pick there, yeah. We do miss the great man, unfortunately, but we've got a heap of music there. I don't know, lots, but what was that, mate?
Couldn't have lived a better life.
Nah, I mean, if you're gonna, aim for it, then that's pretty up there. So, yeah, one of the greats, and this album is fitting for all three of the guys. Actually, you talk about it when you got you talk about Filthy Phil, Fast Eddie Clark, and Lemmy. They really did knock this one out of the park, and all three of them fucking legends in more ways than one. But yeah, all good. All right. Oh, here we go. Sally's jumped in with her favourite live album, I think. Black Label Society live with Rob from Metallica. Great to watch. Can't remember the title of the gig. I know the word
Bruised, Bruised, and something. Okay,
there we go.
I know that one. That's the one with the Limp Bizkit sucks cock on Terrorizer.
All right. There we go. Cool. There we go. So if you're watching now, then jump in. Let us know your favourite live show. Otherwise, let us know later on. And we'll catch up.
I used to love And All That Could Have Been by 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Just because, again, I like the bands that smack in the face live.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fan of talking live. I just want to be pummeled.
Yeah. Depends what it is. There we go. Sally's gone. It's got to be around 9/11 because Zach tells the punters to pray for war. So there you go.
Yeah. It's around, It was around, it was pre-Mafia.
Yeah. Okay.
So Mafia was sort of when when Zach was on Guitar Hero and all that, they kind of blew up a little bit there. But it was before those days.
Okay. Cool. Well, there we go. Well, Sally's agreeing with you. She's going, yes, Tim, so that's all good. But yeah, that'll be another conversation. We'll save that. We'll maybe, I don't know, we've got another hot topic to do for Sunday. We'll think of one. Maybe that one will be the one for Sunday. Let's talk about some favourite live albums to get some prep work going in for that one. But I guess we should start to wrap things up for tonight. Thank you, those of us that have joined us, and thank you to you, Tim, for taking the time out on a Thursday. With a little bit last minute there, but we got it in the end.
No, I'm happy to do it. Hey, I was always going to jump in with Darkthrone on here.
Yeah. Well, I knew that was a given. It was just cool that you got the other ones there as well, and I didn't think Motorhead would be hard for you. It was cool you liked Wildstreet as well. So it's a 3 for 3 tonight. We went pretty much on par with each other. It was a good night all around. So the bands for some great music for us to talk about, and thank you for everyone for joining us tonight for another episode of our silliness. We will be doing another stream on Sunday night, so I'm not sure yet what the list will be, but follow our socials and you'll get involved in that. And our Tuesday interview coming up is with Carly Jewell, so we're looking forward to that one. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Great.
Yeah, Carly's great. If you haven't checked out her music, please do check it out. And we'll do another one on Thursday and just keep rolling on through as we go along. We've got another sort of month of interviews booked already, so it's fantastic. In case you didn't get the good news, TV is still a thing for us for the next 3 years on Channel 31 and Channel 44. So 31 in Melbourne, 44 in Adelaide. And for that, we're on 10:30 p.m. Thursday nights. So that's tonight as we do this one in Adelaide. So if you're watching over there, it's the first part of our what we thought was going to be our TV finale, where we all got together on this platform and told some stories and rattled off some clips. So it's part 1 over there. And if you're watching on 10:30 p.m. Saturday night in Melbourne, it'll be part 3 or whatever it is that you've got coming your way as well. We're going to be playing that all through the month. And then whatever doesn't make it will go to, or doesn't get into the regular episodes, will go to the marathon on Channel 31 at the end of the month, along with our Metal Church special. So there's a lot coming up in that regard. And then as we roll over into August, we'll be celebrating 10 years of the show. So there's a lot going on in the very near future now. So heaps. So please keep up to date with us. Our links are in the description of this, whether you're watching now or later on or tuning in via audio, take your pick. All the links are in the description of the post. Take your shot, find your favorite one and follow us there. And please check out our sponsors too. A big thank you to Squidding, Screen Printing, Alt Cult, and Rockstar Finance. Big thank you for your support. Their details, like ours, are in the description. And if you'd like to help us out, check out our Patreon. That's a link there for you, as well as a PayPal link too, just in case you feel like doing that instead. Nikki's jumped in with another favorite live show, Cunning Stunts. Yes, that is a very good one. I do enjoy Cunning Stunts. That is a great live show. But I think that's it. I think that's all the details that we need to get through. If not, then just, like I said, keep following us on social and we'll get to it all eventually. But now it's time for the part of the week we all enjoy the most. Tim, are you prepared for the bin?
I'm prepared. There's a loads to put in the bin today.
Oh, there's heaps.
Fuck. Oh, man.
What to choose, eh?
Well, from, Scott Morrison turning down 40 million Pfizer vaccines to the biggest one is the Philadelphia District Attorney for the deal they made with Bill Cosby.
Oh fuck yeah, that's
so. If you look into because basically what happened was they agreed not to put him into jail if he testified in a civil case. And his testimony in the civil case was so bad that they arrested him and put him in jail, which should let you know just how guilty he is, first of all. But secondly, unfortunately, because they also made that deal, why it was such a bad deal, because it was illegal.
Oh, God.
Well, because they made the deal.
Yeah.
So they had to let him out, and he's out today. And yeah,
and Channel 7 reporting it as America's Father Comes Home or something like that is pretty fucking deplorable too.
Yeah, well, it's just the Australian media, and
they can go on the bin.
Given how they reported on George Pell, they really love that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. It's nuts. Nuts. Yeah, that's in there for sure. Is that you're done with that's the end of your
Yeah, that's the main one. That's the main one. ScoMo is just a perennial bin, I think.
That is, and if you're worrying about why we can't have gigs and certain stuff, blame him, because our way out of this is the vaccine program, and that has been royally.
Even then, so normally when we get a vaccine, how it works is the federal government buys it, distributes it to the state health departments, and the state health departments distribute it to the people.
Unless it's a federal network.
What Scott Morrison did was privatized it and got a bunch of private companies to distribute it, and they fucked it up.
Yep. And how's it working out for us now? We had a year advantage because of our borders, and we are fucked up. We are way behind now. We are so far behind, we're now becoming a joke. So well done. Don't vote for that prick again. He should not be rewarded for bad performance. Don't vote for the LNP. Seriously. They wanted to kill community TV, for fuck's sake. Just get rid of them. They need to go. But anyway, got a couple of fun bins to lighten the mood. One is Vodafone. I've been with Vodafone for quite some time, and a lot of people don't like Vodafone. That's all good. But fix your fucking 4G. It's been bugging me for 48 hours now. How you can not have the 4G network running for 4 hours in a day and age when you're supposed to have 5G running is fucking beyond me. Get in there. And my real bin is, when you go, because there are bus routes on my way to and from work. And when the bus pulls over and then they put the hazards on. And then before they take off again, they just turn the hazards off to the right indicator straight away and just take off.
And go.
That can go in the bin. For fuck's sake.
They know they have the right of way.
Yeah.
And they know if you hit them, you're fucked.
Yeah.
So they just go.
Yeah. It's fuck off. The lot of you that do this. I saw one driver this morning for the first time ever since this was a thing. He turned the hazards off, kept the left indicator on for about 5-10 seconds, and then put the right indicator on to let me know he was going out. That's cool. I can live with that. But going from hazard to right and then going is bullshit, and getting the fucking bin. Whoever's teaching these pricks to do that can fuck off. Have a bit of courtesy. I know you got right away, and you're bigger than everyone else, but have a little bit of courtesy, because it's fucking mind-blowingly stupid, especially when the sun glare is in the wrong way and all that sort of stuff. Well, it's really fucked up, and someone will get killed with this one day. Do it better. Anyway, Tim has gone, bring on the metal shirt special. Yes, he's very keen for that. We might see if we can find a way to bring him into it, I think, because he's a big fan of that band. And we'll drag him into things there. And Sally agrees with you, Tim. The Cosby thing is so fucked up. In the bin with that. And she's also gone 10 full years, full decade, you rock. So there we go. Very cool. Very nice words there. But I think we're about done, aren't we?
Yeah, we're done, I think.
We're done. All right, cool. Well, hopefully this has gone to Instagram okay. You said it was before. I haven't checked what's going on since. But yeah, hopefully it was there. And if you did see it there, then let us have a check. I haven't any notifications there. All right, cool. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this presentation of Deep Cuts. We'll be back again on Sunday with another regular episode of the Hard Rock Show. Between now and then, check us out on TV. But we'll see you all very, very soon. Thank you for tuning in and joining us tonight. Until next time, though, I'm Andrew.
And Tim.
As always,
drink up.
And rock on. And now I'll do the rigmarole where I sign off from each individual platform. So if you're watching on Instagram, we're saying goodbye to you now. So goodbye to Instagram. And then we're removing Twitter from the feed. So goodbye to Twitter. See you next time. And then our second most popular platform in YouTube. We'll see you soon. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.